From Islamic Finance News, the world's leading Islamic finance news provider, this is IFN Podcast. Hi everyone, welcome to IFN Podcast. My name is Nessreen. I'll be your host today. And joining me in this episode is Mohammed Kateeb, the Group Chairman and CEO of Islamic banking solutions provider, Path Solutions. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you, Nessreen. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
All right, so I can imagine that it's been a very busy year and a half for Path Solutions, given how the pandemic has impacted, the way that banks and financial institutions, your clients really, how they operate. But I think the fourth industrial revolution had already begun. So perhaps you could start us off with a quick refresher on what the fourth industrial revolution is, what it means for the industry, and also maybe go into, in particular, how artificial intelligence plays a role in, what we can call the Islamic bank of the future.
Okay, yes. The fourth industrial revolution is exactly what it states. It is the fourth revolution for humanity when it comes to the industry, and it started about 10 years ago with a huge number of technologies coming into existence, and of course all triggered by the internet and the cloud and the mobility technologies. And based on that across the world, more and more technologies came in, and of course artificial intelligence blossomed in the last 10 years and played a very amazing role in changing a lot of industries. Absolutely. And the financial industry is no different. So basically this actually hit the industry by a storm, because it allowed some startups, we call fintechs, to come in and start competing with the banks by providing specific services with more efficient, better feel to the consumers of the financial services. Mm-hmm. And it kind of like shook up the traditional and the slow moving industry, which is the financial industry. So with the technologies coming into play, the fintechs is putting a lot of pressure on the industry by chipping away these services from the traditional institution and traditional banks. And I'm talking about, in general, about the financial industry, but really because when it comes to the fourth industrial revolution, it's no difference between Islamic financial institutions versus the traditional financial institution. They're all in the same boat when it comes to all the challenges and the opportunities that this revolution actually brought. For the last 10 years, it has been, the institutions have been adjusting and trying to explore the opportunities, the digital transformation playing a key role in these changes. And it was very, I would say, actually reacting to the fourth industrial revolution, but it was exciting times for everybody. And then the pandemic hit, and the pandemic just accelerated everything. Right. Because all of a sudden you have all those people cannot go to the branches. They need the branches. They need the services to be remote. They need access to their financial services, and it became an accelerator to a lot of these. So yes, Path Solutions is the partner in the Islamic financial industry. We have financial institution, Islamic financial institutions, and they were asking us to. So some of them were actually, if you look at the continuum of the financial institutions, you will find some banks a lot more ready than others for this change, but they were counting on us to come in and help them with these services and help them connect with their customers and react to the regulation changes, the huge regulation changes that were happening during the pandemic that were not existing before. So yes, Path Solution has been very busy working closely with our customers, trying to adjust to the new norm.
Gotcha. And, I mean, if it's okay to ask, I know that you mentioned that, the challenges are the same across, Islamic and conventional banking systems and financial systems. But I mean, since you have worked with a lot of more Sharia compliant financial institutions, is there anything, maybe a unique kind of challenge that is posed to these, Islamic institutions and have overcome them?
Yes. One of the key challenges is actually the structure of the Islamic products and the contracts and how the contracts, for example, for murabahas and are structured. And when the regulation came and decided to delay some of those payments to help some of the businesses and the companies and all that, it was very easy for conventional because it's an interest based, it's like a simple calculation. But for Islamic contracts, it's much more complicated than that. And we actually had to do a lot of work because some of these contracts had to actually be redone with the new payment plans and so it's not as easy and straightforward as it was for the conventional banking. I always say Islamic finance is much more complex than conventional banking, because conventional banking is just basically based on interest and very simple rates, versus the complexity of the Islamic contracts make it, any change in payment plans or any adjustments make it a challenge. And that's actually one of the biggest challenges we had. The other challenge we had is that we had a lot of banks and those young banks did not have the infrastructure or the readiness for the digitalization of the channels. And because of this just hit overnight and they had to actually react. So a lot of these banks, smaller banks has to actually work on their infrastructure, digital infrastructure, mobile infrastructure, and allow the users to have access through mobility and internet banking, etc. So we had some of those challenges, but actually I believe that challenge is happening also in the conventional space. But we saw it in the Islamic financial space.
No, I get you. And, going into the markets, I know that Path Solutions has, offices in the GCC and other major Islamic finance jurisdictions. I wanted to know what are markets that you are looking into as Path Solutions, particularly, of course, for Islamic finance. Which ones do you think have some exciting, if it's okay to say exciting challenges that Path Solutions can maybe help address?
I believe one of the most important markets that emerged in the last few years is Africa. We see Islamic finance going deeper and deeper into the African countries. It used to be only in North Africa and Sudan. Now we see it deep into Uganda, West African countries, East African countries. And a lot of these countries have a good percentage of Muslim population, but we're also seeing some countries with 10 and 15% Muslim population looking at Islamic finance very closely. So we found that these markets are very exciting. We're working on some really good deals in Ethiopia, for example, which is not a known Islamic country. In addition to that market, we have the Central Asia market developing slowly but surely because of the high Islamic population in some of these countries, in the ex-Soviet Union countries, and these countries are moving steadily toward the Islamic finance with the Islamic Development Bank and ICD, etc. And we are actually working very closely with these organizations on these markets.
Of course, absolutely. How about any exciting developments unexpected exciting developments in the past year, that you guys as Path Solutions have encountered, and any ones that you are looking forward to in the coming year? Because, we talked about how the entire situation has really deeply impacted the industry. But also with that are opportunities, I can imagine.
Yeah, I believe technology became the biggest accelerator in the industry. Before technology was a support, played always a support role. The CIOs in the banks were always playing a support role, and IEOs are developing competency in technology. They are some of them introducing the position of the CTO, Chief Technology Officer. Also, the Chief Digital Officer is becoming a very key role in these financial institutions.
Right.
For Path Solution, the most exciting things is really what we're working on in two initiatives, one called Path Digital, the other one is Path Intelligence. And it's Path Digital is everything digital transformation, digital channels, and actually automating everything in the financial institution and removing any manual work. And that's actually my question usually to the CEOs is, whatever you're doing manually, we need to know about it, because there is no reason for you to be doing anything manually. So that is on the Path Digital. On the Path Intelligence, it's basically becoming a data-driven organization for the banks, collecting all this data over the years, but not really using that data strategically. They haven't been really doing a lot of good work on utilizing the data to offer better services and understand the customer. With the artificial intelligence and with the analytics that we, through the really some intelligent tools, we are able to read patterns in the data and make more intelligent decisions from this data. So all the decisions, I believe, in the next few years will become data-driven from the analytics that we get out of the banks. We have great initiatives around that in Path Intelligence, and we're offering a lot of analytics and intelligence, even around fraud management and other requirements for the business. So those two areas are very exciting, and we feel that we and our customers will benefit tremendously from them and from what we offer.
Is it something that we can expect soon, or?
We actually released the first releases of both of those products, and we actually have customers who are already implementing them. But it's a continuous process. From today, it will stop becoming a product, and you as you know, the world is moving towards services. So these will continue to services into them, and our target is every quarter we have an update to both of these initiatives with more interesting and exciting services and functionalities. So it will be a continuous process, and definitely our customers are excited about. And our customers are excited about this, and we have a pipeline of customers waiting for these implementations.
Right, that makes perfect sense. All right, well, we look forward to more services coming out of Path Solutions, and in the meantime, that has been our time. Once again for joining us today and sharing your insights, Mohammed.
Thank you, Nessreen. Thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for IFN.
Thank you for listening. For more discussions on the Islamic finance industry, log on to www.islamicfinancenews.com. You can also listen to IFN Podcast on your favorite platforms, including iTunes and Spotify.